Welcome to the show. I'm Andy Meadows. I thought we would start by going through some of the initial feedback we got from last week's debut show. Remember, if you want to weigh in on anything we talk about, ask a question, or let us know what you think of the show, you can do so by going to andymeadowsshow.com and hitting the record button. Let's start with the ones I haven't heard yet. Here's a video sent in by Jake from Everglades City, Florida.
Your British accent sucks, your headlines aren't funny, and you sound like a broadcaster.
Wow, your captions suck, and well, that was mean. I spent a lot of time on those headlines jokes. I thought they were okay. I got to give it to you on the British accent is terrible, and the sounds like a broadcaster, accurate. That's what my wife tells me all the time. Now that I've heard it from somebody else, even though he was mean, maybe I'll listen. That's what she always says is she'll tell me stuff, and then I won't do it. But then if I hear it from another person, I do it. And that's confirmation bias. You know, I need the consensus once I hear it from somebody else. But Jake, you're mean and you're dirty. You need a shower. And I expect more out of a fellow redneck. How about another one? This one sounds a little more positive. It's an audio message from the website recorded by Ashley in New York, who wrote, "You saved my marriage" in the subject line. So this one's got to be better, right?
I was strongly considering leaving my husband and rejoining the dating pool, but if this is what men in their 40s are like, count me out.
You're welcome, I guess. Here's a YouTube comment from Trey Hapner, a friend of my brother, Rob, who's on the roundtable today. He said he liked the show, so we got one fan, and added, "Didn't you break both your wrists in high school?" Like I said, hit us up with a question. Love to answer. I did break both my arms. It wasn't my wrists, and it wasn't in high school. I broke one arm in 7th or 8th grade running track. I was running the mile, and it was the last event of the night, small town Texas. We have like a 7 or 8 lane track, and there were about 14 kids on there. So they put us all in one heat just to get the thing done with. I jump out to an early lead, and one of the other kids cuts me off, trips me. I get run over by 13 other 7th grade kids, and I was like a beanpole. So it hurt really bad, all those little spikes on me. It was traumatizing just going through it. But so I remember that I was crying, and a bunch of the girls from the track team ran over, and I remember thinking, man, I hope to God this arm is broken, because I just cried in front of every girl in my class, and luckily it was broken. And then the second one was when I was in high school. I broke my other arm dunking a basketball, showing off again in front of probably showing off in front of girls, but I just gotten to where I could dunk a basketball, and so I called everybody over to watch. It was an outdoor court, and I slipped on a pebble and broke the ever-living heck out of my arm, and it was hanging. It was really gross, and so when it first happened, sometimes it doesn't hurt. So everyone thought I was tough because I was walking around like showing people, laughing. But then when I got in the car, I had my mom pull over so I could throw up, and yeah, probably started crying again because it hurt really bad on that one. So thanks for bringing that up, Trey. But I do appreciate you liking the show. Hey, coming up, we'll discuss the perks of being a dictator, Cowboys Super Bowl odds, crappy city slogans, and over-the-top Caitlin Clark fouls on the redneck roundtable. But first, your headlines. Taylor Swift surprised some NFL players with a performance of Shake It Off at Tight End University, which coincidentally I applied for but was sadly rejected because I have what they call no butt syndrome. By the way, Shake It Off is my almost 2 and almost 4-year-old daughter's favorite song to dance to. It's adorable. My 2-month-old son is more of an old school country fan, so he doesn't dance to Taylor Swift. On his way to a NATO summit, President Trump took questions from reporters about Israel and Iran breaking the ceasefire. Trump responded by dropping the F-bomb, saying they don't know what the F they're doing, causing news reporters everywhere to get excited and ask, does this mean we can say it? Ooh. All broadcasters secretly want to drop the F-bomb when we're live. The NBA draft is tonight, and Duke's Cooper Flagg is a lock to go at number 1 to the Dallas Mavericks. meaning that Nico Harrison can finally come out of hiding after botching the Luka trade and infuriating all 8.3 million people here in the Metroplex. Former New York governor and guy who says things to women we're not supposed to say anymore about their tushies, Andrew Cuomo, has conceded in the New York City mayoral race after polls showed his progressive opponent amassing a big lead. And as we all know, polls are never wrong, except for 2016, 2018, 2020, 2022, and 2024. Oh, Rob, so I was going through those video games. So because I haven't played them in years, I've got some vintage video games. I have $854 worth of vintage games because those Atari games are worth like anywhere from $5 to $30 a piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What's the rarest one? What's the highest dollar?
Well, the one I got all like, oh man, I wish there's a Air Raid for some reason's worth $10,000.
What?
Because it's just like records. The more popular, the more sold, the more that's sold, the less
Right.
valuable it is as a.
So it's the
Like
random crap, like.
Yeah, so like Pitfall's not worth as much because it sold a boatload of stuff for Donkey Kong or whatever. But it's the random game that nobody played. But hey, it's a benefit of mom never throwing anything away.
That's true.
And luckily,
That's
I got
true.
those before they burned up in the fire. Oh, you weren't here, Rob. So we were all at Rick and Elaine's house, and this was like a month or two after the fire. And Wendy was complaining about her contractor on our remodel. And I said, well, you can just have Dad come over and grill some burgers, and you'll get the insurance money and start from scratch. And everybody just got quiet. No one said anything. It was like crickets. And I was like, too soon? And the only person that laughed was Dad. All right. Since this is the Redneck Roundtable, we're going to go around the table and let everyone introduce themselves, who you are, where you're from, and tell us one thing that qualifies you as a redneck. I'll start. I once fronted a country and blues band called Drew Ryan and the Out on Bail Band. We were not nearly as cool as our name would.
Definitely did. No, you were not.
And I had to use Drew Ryan because that was my radio name, because they didn't want everyone to know that half of the air staff was Bob Meadows' kids.
Nepotism is not dead. No.
That always sucked having an on-air name, though, because you would forget when you meet people, you wouldn't know, like, do you know me as Andy Meadows or do you know me as Drew Ryan? And then it looks like you're lying about your identity.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, Rob, you go. What's your redneck fact, and tell them who you are.
Oh, man. What about, you know what? When I remember when I was a little kid, I would go pick up pecans off the ground, take them and sell them so I could buy night crawlers to go fishing.
That's pretty redneck.
That's pretty redneck.
Not
Man,
bad.
and we would spend all day out there, and we would get, what, like $5 worth of pecans or
$2.
something? Yeah. Oh, and Rob, so Rob is my brother, Rob, and he lives in
Oh, yeah.
Astoria, Oregon. That's how you say it, right?
Astoria, yes.
Astoria.
The Goonie Town.
That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
Famous
Nice.
for a lot of movies
Nice.
have been filmed there, right? I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, but I don't know about that one. Maybe I don't remember. There's several. Yeah, Free Willy, Kindergarten Cop, that kind of stuff.
What's that bar that you took me to where people got shanghaied?
That's the Portway. Yeah, they have a little hole in the floor where they would pull the drunks out and Shanghai them.
Did you know that was a real thing,
Forced
Brent?
labor.
I did not. I did not know that.
Yeah, so they would wait for people to
Wow.
get, like, if a tourist got drunk and was being belligerent, they would they would let them get hammered, and then they would use the trap door, and it takes them to a boat, and by the time they wake up,
No
they're
way.
halfway across the ocean working on a ship.
Wow.
That's where the term shanghaied came from.
Wow.
There's actually a very popular play here that's put on locally. It's called Shanghai in Astoria. So if you're ever in town, try to check that out. It's actually pretty entertaining.
Duly noted.
So, Brent, what's your redneck fact, and tell them who you are?
Yeah, my name is Brent Hoodenpyle. I'm here in East Texas in Longview, and I have two redneck facts. I actually have regularly driven a tractor, a John Deere tractor. I have photo evidence of that. And once I discovered the pickled eggs, at the convenience store, that's my go-to. That's my go-to convenience store snack. So good.
So disgusting.
And
For me.
those things will keep in the car for up to 3 weeks, just so you know.
Man,
thank you.
Have you done the pickled beer?
No, I'm not. I have not.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Although, I used to I've been open to more pickled stuff lately. I'd say I've had the pickled okra. That's really pretty good as well.
Not a
do it.
fan. My bad.
But yes, that definitely qualifies you, and you have to send me the tractor picture so we can
I will. I
add
definitely
it
will.
in post. So here's our topics. If any of you watching or listening want to answer any of these questions yourself because you think Brent and Rob's answers are stupid, or you want to comment on one of our answers, just head to AndyMeadowsShow.com and maybe we'll include them in an upcoming episode. In Kim Jong-un's autobiography, he claims to have played claims to have played golf only one time in his entire life, and he shot a 35 under par. Not surprisingly, he did really well. Other than lying about your golf game, what's the best and worst thing about being a dictator?
Oh, man. The best and worst thing about it. The worst thing would be half the time you get killed because they
Half the
overthrow
time.
you.
It's just it's not a if, it's when.
Most of the time, it's win, yes. Best thing, though? Never having to say you're sorry, right?
That's true.
Well, that and the golf lessons, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got to go with the harem. I mean, the harem's the best part, right?
Yeah.
And the ability to
married.
vanquish your
Getting
enemies. Was Kim Jong-un the one that took his uncle out with a tank?
Did he really?
Yeah.
I mean, they were some really creepy dudes.
He was trying to make a point,
Yeah.
Family barbecue gone awry.
But I think the best part would be I would do tons of bits with it. Like I would just, I would like,
following you doing drops all day.
oh, that would be great. Like ticket
Sasha
drops.
Baron
Right.
Dictator is just great, where he's running the Olympics with a gun and shooting him in the leg.
Yeah, I would dress increasingly more absurd with each passing day, just seeing it when someone would bring it up. Because, I would have taken someone out with a rocket launcher day one, so no one's going to talk about it. Anything to add to that, Brent?
No, I would say.
What's your dictator move? What are you outlawing?
My dictator move, man, that is so far from my current reality that what would I do? I'll think about that one.
You don't think you're on the road to being a dictator?
Not as much as I did in my younger days. I was sure of it then, but
Sure my 7-year-old is. So
Are you talking about Oscar? No, not Oscar. You're talking about June.
June's in charge.
Don't tell me that because our middle one has June written. I mean, she's got a lot of June mannerisms and yeah.
Can we talk about the pay gap in dictators? Because I feel there's not been a lot of women dictators.
That's true.
Has there been a female? Probably back in the olden days.
Evita, was that the story with the one? What was the one? Don't cry for me, Argentina. That lady.
And then Imelda Marcos, her husband,
Yeah,
was a dictator.
right.
And she bought a lot of shoes. So
Like
it was the shoe fit, right?
yeah.
City slogans often prove that nothing good ever comes out of a brainstorming session, but one city in Kansas nailed it. The slogan for gas, Kansas, is "Don't pass gas, stop and enjoy it." Pretty good city slogan.
Love it.
What should the city slogan be for some of your least favorite cities? You want me to start?
I just want to know what the high school mascot is in gas.
It's probably a big fat guy. Here's mine. Lampasas, Texas. What's a city you hate? Lampasas, Texas. Yes, your 8-year-old pronounced that correctly. This town sucks. Lampasas. Don't mean to be rude. Lampasas is probably cool. I just spent a summer there before I was old enough to drink.
Yeah, that was a long summer for you.
I ran a radio station there for 3 months when I was in college. And I wasn't old enough to drink yet. And if you run a radio station, you need to have a drink. Rob can attest to that. Brent, any cities you can't stand?
French Lick, Indiana is a weird one, but that's a.
Which one?
French Lick, Indiana. It's just a weird name, but I can't think of a good slogan for it. That's not too dirty for this show.
This is YouTube, dude. You can be as dirty as you want. I just bleep it out if it's too much. You got to watch the algorithm. You don't cuss early on, but after that, you're fine.
You're full of hacks today, man. You're full of the algorithm and the AI.
I'm a
AI
nerd,
hacks.
dude.
Dude, I did not know we had this treasure trove available.
I spent 2 hours before this figuring out how much my vintage video games are worth. That's what my Sunday's been. $854, by the way, if anybody wants to write a check.
That's a quality way to spend a Sunday, let me tell you.
I was working. Dad's in his office working. As of right now, according to Vegas, the Eagles have the best odds of winning the Super Bowl next season, and the Cowboys are long shots, behind anywhere from 17 to 19 other NFL teams, depending on which sports book you look at. Plus 6,000 odds. That means if you bet $100, you'd win $6,100 if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. What do you think? Is Vegas wrong? And is this our year? Any chance this is our year? Do what?
Every year we say, "Oh, it's our year." It's never our year anymore. It's been 30 years since our year.
Can we? I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, can we talk about how good Dak was in his first year as a Cowboy? He was so good. I mean, I don't know if it's just that if we need to have like a favorite aging quarterback come in before him so he can replace him again, because it's just never lived up to the hype ever since. But it also goes to show you how hard that job is in the NFL to be a quarterback. I mean, because we don't like Dak. Well, who are you going to get next? It's like so many Heisman Trophy guys flame out too. But I don't know. I as far as odds on Cowboys, 6,000 is generous, man. Wow.
Well, to your point about, I mean, Rob, you played football, so you know better than me. But was he good the first season because the defenses weren't ready for him? Like, is that why he was so good?
Decent team around him too.
But his passing accuracy was just spot on. And
he won 13. He won 13
and
games
he was
that
hungry.
year.
He was really hungry that year. He wanted to be the quarterback more than anything else.
Yeah, it's different. Hunger on the way up is different than maintenance when you get there. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of that too.
Well, I think when he was a dual threat quarterback, that helped a ton because he's an accurate passer, and the fact that not only could he run, but he could truck over somebody because he's built like a brick shithouse. But but then the injuries piled up. So once you become the starter and you're the franchise quarterback for the most valuable franchise in the world, everyone gets nervous and they don't want to. I feel like they told him not to run at some point.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think he got hurt.
Well, that gruesome leg break. Remember that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. The only thing
I was in Nashville watching that game at a bar, and when he had that leg break, and I wanted to cry. I really did.
I felt so bad.
So looking
for
forward
him.
to that season.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. And that's one of the most gruesome ones. I can't watch those anytime that comes on.
Yeah. See, I grew up in the 70s, and the Cowboys every year were not just good, they were great. And I just used to sit there and think, what would it be like to not have your team go to the playoffs every year? And now I know.
Well,
and
we
the
were
Patriots,
spoiled in the
the Patriots
90s
were terrible back then too.
Yeah. We were 90s kids watching them, and Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. We were spoiled.
Yeah, but then we had this enormous drought after Aikman where we ran through all these quarterbacks and nobody was worth a darn. And then we get Romo, and it keeps every year it looks like we might have a shot.
Just enough to keep you coming back for more.
And remember the Dez catch year? I thought we had a legit shot that year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That was heartbreaking.
That stupid rule. And the first Romo year where Romo fumbled it because he was still holding the.
That was the game that drove.
I don't want to think about that one. We were there. Oh.
That was the game that drove Bill Parcells out of coaching for good. He just walked off the sidelines, never came back.
I was watching with two buddies, two grown, and they both started crying on the Romo fumble one.
Yeah.
Romo is so good. He's so good. He's so likable, man. It's heartbreaking to think about it.
And he's a good sportscaster too.
He's really good. Really good.
I don't think Well, when Rob and I disagreed, when he was the quarterback, I thought he was better than everybody gave him credit for. Rob did, or were you just giving me crap? Did you really think he was good?
I was probably giving you crap mostly. He's a good quarterback, but I didn't ever think he could get us past that, to the next stage.
Yeah, but that's what's so. I mean, I feel like there's only really one or two amazing quarterbacks in the NFL at any given time, and everybody else, the stars have to line up. Like Jalen Hurts is not unbelievable. He's just on a good team, and the Eagles, as much as I hate them, they're incredibly well run. But it's not like he's Mahomes is the guy right now that's the Brady.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you mentioned like after the Aikman years, it was all these you ran through quarterback after quarterback. That was the same thing after the Staubach years, in the 70s. It's like you had Danny White, Danny White was kind of the quarterback I think of now. It's like, man, if they'd won that game if they'd won the 49er game in San Francisco, what they call the catch, with Dwight Clark and all that. But I mean, he was leading a drive after that, and they had some bad luck. But he never. It's just so weird. He never broke through to that next level like all these other quarterbacks seem to do. And the same thing was Pelure and all these guys, and Landry in the press conferences, they started making fun of him because he couldn't remember the quarterbacks' names. He just called him number 12 or whatever. Yeah. And it's like that's the way it gets to be. I think quarterback wins the day in the NFL, man.
Yeah, and I think Dak's in the same spot as Romo. I think he's a good quarterback. I think it's just the right team around him. This is probably not our year because we don't have a running back to speak of. I like that pickup of Pickens, though. I think he'll take pressure off a Lamb, and we'll actually.
Jury's still out for me.
Same.
I may get back on the bandwagon 2-3 games in, and we'll see.
Yeah. Every year I'm depressed, and then they win like 4 or 5 in a row, and I'm like, all right, here we go.
Going all the way. No, and then they kill you again.
Yeah, and it just rips
Can't go 8-8 unless you win those 4 or 5 in a row.
Okay, here we go. Arcade game you spent all your quarters on as a kid.
Oh, Space Invaders, totally. And Galaga. Both of those two.
How about Afterburn? Remember that, the plane one?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. The fake barrel rolls, yeah.
Brent, we grew up and my mom had a restaurant for a little bit, and there was an arcade in the back, and so we come straight.
Sandwich shop. We'll just call it a sandwich shop.
Oh, yeah. Stretch call it a restaurant. It was a sandwich shop, yeah. But there was an arcade in the back, so when we get off of school, we'd go and we get to play arcade games for a couple
That's
hours.
pretty cool.
Mom
That is
worked.
awesome.
I'm pretty sure Space Invaders was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time. This is how old I am. I remember the first time that, we'd go to this pizza restaurant all the time, and then we went there one time, and all of a sudden there's this game there. And that how old it was. It wasn't even a stand-up game. It was a sit-down. I think it was Pong. It might have been Pong. And people just crowded around it, People, you'd lay your quarters up on the thing. It was like a hysteria around this thing. And then after that, I was still not a huge gamer, but yeah, it would definitely be Space Invaders for me. It was probably what I played the most.
God, we're showing how old we are here.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember Mr. Gaddy's, how you could go and you could eat the
Dude,
buffet
that was
pizza
that was the restaurant. That was the restaurant that had the first video game I ever saw. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, Mr. Gaddy's was awesome. I think that started
Yes.
in Kerrville, Texas, if I'm not misremembering that. I beat Steven Steiner there in a pizza eating. So everyone thinks the skinny kid can't eat, right? So I used to win so much money as a kid in eating contests. I beat Steven Steiner, who was a large fella, and not only did I beat him, I won some money. He ate 21 pieces of pizza. I ate 22
Wow, Mr. Gaddy's pizza.
at Mr. Gaddy's.
Oh man, I can see that.
But
And
did
then,
you
know
fake it by not eating the crust? Because that was usually what you would do.
I
get
probably
to the end of it.
made him instill a rule that I didn't have to eat the crust.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as the drinking.
It's a miracle Andy's still alive. He grew up and all he would eat is Doritos and peanut butter sandwiches for most of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was such a little jerk too. I would eat Taco Bell was one of the restaurants I would eat. So if they were eating at a restaurant I didn't like, I would just refuse to eat. And at first, they're like, fine, whatever, trying to teach me a lesson. But then I was so skinny, I was so crack thin that they would finally give in. And so
like he was going to die.
yeah, they would drive through Taco Bell, and if they were going to Red Lobster, they'd take me to Taco Bell first so I could get my Taco Bell. And while everyone ate Red Lobster, I would eat Taco Bell. Yeah.
Wow.
And I would eat.
I
would eat
Red Lobster. We were going to a lot when we were little.
going to where?
The Golden Corral.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where we would go when we went out.
I feel Golden Corral was a different experience back then too than it is now.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think
They
one of
didn't
the
have
things.
the glass up so that people could just sneeze right on the food.
Yeah, I think we all rethought buffets after the pandemic. We're
Dude,
all like, maybe that's not a.
I just ate at a Chinese food buffet,
Oh, Chinese buffets I'll still do. I'm
and
not gonna lie.
I had the tamales. Think about that.
Molly's?
Tamales, yeah, and they were good. That's the other thing that was really crazy.
But Golden Corral is one of those you remember. As a kid, Golden Corral seemed amazing because you could get tacos and a burger and pizza and chicken wings and all.
The ice cream machine.
Yeah, you would always get sick because you'd always do this stupid combos of food. But if you go to Golden Corral as an adult, it's like disgusting. You know what I mean?
Hadn't been there in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it.
I didn't realize they were still open. I haven't seen one in a long time.
The buffets in Vegas are something I still do, but they've got the freaking price has gone up.
$45 for a buffet for breakfast. It's just dumb.
What?
Yeah, but it's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're amazing. So when I
Prime
first started
rib for breakfast.
when I first started going to Vegas, the buffets were all super cheap, but the food was all terrible. Now it's like $45, but the food's actually freaking good.
Yeah.
What else? What else?
Honestly, the only reason I would go to Vegas anymore is food, but
Yeah, the food there's a steakhouse I went to last time that was in Circus. So you wouldn't think it, but there's a amazing steakhouse in Circus that's been there for frickin' 100 years. That is one of the best steaks I've ever had.
pretty sure Circus hasn't been there 100 years, but whatever.
One more sports question, since you guys are sports gurus. What do you think's worse, the old Hack-a-Shack fouls Or have you seen the over-the-top fouls Caitlin Clark has been getting? Like,
Oh my God, yes.
isn't that insane?
Yeah,
Well-
it's been pretty brutal.
Well, the difference is the hack-a-shack fouls made the game boring. The Caitlin Clark fouls have gotten more viewers for the WNBA than anything.
That's probably
Anything. Seriously, yeah. My
Well, and
yeah.
honestly, it was boring because when you hack Shaq, nothing happened. Because I mean, it's like you're hitting a mountain, you know. But with
Yeah,
Caitlin
and-
Clark, I mean, she gets bowled over. Yeah, it's sad.
Well, and that was purposeful with Shaq because he was a terrible free throw shooter. So it was
Right, he's terrible.
mathematically, it's a better idea to foul him than give him a dunk or an easy shot on the inside that you can't stop. But with Caitlin Clark, it's
I heard there were teams on the East Coast that were getting extra centers just so they could have more to foul out. Isn't that crazy?
yeah. But with Caitlin Clark, it's because the league, a lot of the other players don't like her because she's so famous. She's basically single-handedly
They're jealous.
brought the ratings through the roof, and it's like this person is helping the entire league by bringing viewers. Why are you being anyway? Yeah, they seem insane, insanely over the top to me. But
Yeah.
I also haven't watched the WNBA before this, so maybe it's always,
And I feel
been
like
this way.
it's true. I feel like they're going to get her hurt, and that's just going to be
Yeah,
that's going to be a problem.
yeah, which would hurt the.
I mean, she was out for 3 or 4 weeks so far this year from being hurt. So
Yeah,
It's getting to be like a hockey thing where you'll have enforcers on your team now to go out there and body check the people that maybe they'll allow fighting in the WNBA like they do in hockey now. And if you enforce her to protect your star, and body check somebody, then
it is. I mean, I watched a couple of her games, and it is making it a lot more interesting to have her out because she's unbelievable. Plus, the NBA kind of sucks right now because it's all just 3-pointers.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They've all gotten so good
Well,
at shooting threes.
And there's no defense. I mean, I remember somebody was showing a clip of like the 1986 All-Star game. Again, this is when I was watching basketball and stuff as a teenager. And Rolando Blackman from the Mavericks, we're Texas guys. Rolando Blackman from the Mavericks was shooting some free throws down the stretch. And they were high-pressure free throws. I mean, teams did not want to lose that game. It was an intense game. And it's such a joke now. It's boring. It's not even, it's just, I don't know. It's not nearly as fun. I feel maybe I'm doing old man stuff here, which is highly possible, but I feel the game's changed a lot. And I think you're right. It's very boring now. I live, the only basketball I really watch is tournament time now. I think in March, and that's always fun, but, the WNBA, the Caitlin Clark stuff, I actually shared a clip of her the other day with, my nephews and stuff like, oh my gosh, this girl's shooting the lights out. And I don't remember, that was, not only was it just, I guess a novelty, but it's good. She's legitimately excellent at what she does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it makes it fun.
Yeah. Coming up, we'll show you how to play Half a Minute to Win It, where you can win $500 in just 30 seconds. Sign up to play at andymeadowsshow.com. But right now, I've got a special guest with me. Last year, like everyone, I was fascinated by the drones that started appearing over New York and New Jersey. That and the fact that our government now essentially admits that there's probably aliens has rekindled my interest in extraterrestrial beings. So I connected with one on LinkedIn, as one would do, and he agreed to jump on the show real quick. Harold the Alien, thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
No problem, Andy. I've got all the time in the world. You humans have roughly 5 years left.
Ah, crap. Well, at least I don't have to worry about my credit score anymore. Guess we better get on with the show now that the clock is ticking. So this is a little game we call Half a Minute to Win It. Answer 5 questions in 30 seconds and you win $500. Only first answers count. If you don't know, you can pass, and if there's time, we'll go back to it at the end. You'll hear 3 beeps, and then I'll start. Rob, are you ready to play?
I'm ready. So excited.
Which Friends star sadly passed away in December of 2023?
Matthew Perry.
How many U.S. states start with an A?
2. 3, 4.
Spell tambourine.
Tambourine.
Which German-born star led the Dallas Mavericks to an NBA championship in 2011? You got 3 out of 5. I didn't get to the 5th one, but you probably wouldn't have got that one either.
So I missed one big time. The Arkansas,
Yeah.
Alabama, Alaska.
It's hard to count them that quickly
4,
in your head.
right?
Yeah, there's 4.
Yeah.
How many did you say? I thought you said 2 though, right?
I said 1. I said 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, yeah.
So Matthew Perry, you got right. Tambourine, I think you spelled that correctly. Dirk Nowitzki, you got right, but we didn't get to the last question. What is 527 minus 64? So
527 minus 64.
That's pretty hard to do in your head.
I can do it, but I'm thinking too hard. Oh well.
Close though.
So I owe you $500. Oh, geez, that's
No, that's not how
such
it
a scam
works.
for you.
My recommendation for this week is shopping at Aldi. I was out on Aldi for a while. Number one, we have H-E-B's now in North Texas, and we're also excited to have H-E-B's. That's where the majority of us do our grocery shopping right now. You go to the other grocery stores, and it's like hardly anybody in there because people love H-E-B. But I tried Aldi again the other day because I was driving by, and I know the prices there are pretty cheap. But last time I had gone, the produce and the meat, not so good. This time, everything we've gotten from there, including like the generic Doritos and the generic Diet Cokes and stuff, pretty good. Haven't eaten anything so far that I didn't like, and even the wife and the kids aren't glad. The kids don't complain about anything at this point, but they'll eat whatever. But anyway, so Aldi, shopping at Aldi, that's my recommendation for groceries. This is a combo rec and rant because I do think it's worth watching. The new Titan submersible documentary on Netflix. Wow, that was I mean, when the story came out, you kind of knew that the rich guy that owned the company was probably at fault just from reading it, and we also knew, pretty early on that they were not. They were probably not. They probably didn't make it. As the stories are coming out, and they're like, "They got X amount of air." It's like we all knew they were probably gone. Sad, but we didn't want them to be, but we kind of all knew they were. They probably didn't make it, and but you knew the guy in charge was probably the one at fault. But I feel bad for the people who came on it, because if you're going on one of those things and it's like experimental vessel, so you're already a little cautious. But then you see the guy that owns the company is riding in it. I mean, I wouldn't go on Blue Origin into space because I'm scared of heights. I'm scared of everything. But if I knew if they were like Jeff Bezos is going, I'd be like, well, it's probably safe if he's going. But then if they said he's flying it, I would have to, because that's on this one, that would have been where the red flags started showing up for me if I'd paid to go on this thing. The guy that owns it is going to drive it and he's going to use this PlayStation controller. Yeah, I'm not doing this. No, thank you. But when you watch the documentary, it is insane to see. I mean, it literally failed like every safety test, that carbon fiber hull, and all the engineers quit by the time the thing was the last trip. All the engineers had quit because they keep excusing it. It's like the hull's making all these popping noises as they're going down, and they're like, "Yeah, that's what carbon fiber hulls do." Is that, you don't know? Nobody's ever gone 4,000 meters deep in a carbon fiber hull before. But yeah, it's worth watching the documentary. But the guy that runs the company was not it. Rest in peace. But he didn't seem like a very good dude to work for, and definitely the reason why all that happened. But it's worth watching it on Netflix. Last week's Game of Games answer from the category movies is C, Love Actually. Featured the line, "Hi," I'm not doing the British accent again since everybody made fun of it and it was terrible. "Hi, kids, here's an important message from your Uncle Bill. Don't buy drugs, become a pop star, and they give you them for free." That's from Love Actually. A couple people got it right. That will be in one of our upcoming Game of Games live on social, YouTube, and on site coming soon. Winners take home $250 and a spot in the semifinals to win more money and a trip to the finals, which is probably going to be in Vegas next year. Sign up now at andymeadowsshow.com. Here's today's question from the category booze. What popular cocktail combines 2 ounces of rye whiskey, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, 2 dashes bitters, and a garnish of a brandied cherry or lemon twist? A, old-fashioned, B, Manhattan, or C, Negroni? Answer now at andymeadowsshow.com. That does it for episode 2 of The Andy Meadows Show. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.